25 new cases, aggressive testing within those communal communities. Brandon, 9 cases here in Winnipeg. Let's start off with University of Ottawa epidemiologist Raywat Deonandan. 9 cases here in Winnipeg, and I know we've been talking to you for the last week now. You're a bit more alarmed here. When you look at all these cases in Manitoba, what do you make of all this, Raywat?
It's confusing and concerning. I mean, I thought Manitoba had its act together. I don't mean to be condescending about that. I was, celebrating Manitoba's behavior and all of this. And lately, things have not been going well. The test positivity rate is over 3% now in the last few days. That really stands out to me, and because that to me tells me that something's going on, something bad is going on, especially given the aggressive testing rate too. Now, it's still under 5%, which means you're not in crisis. People should not panic. But it's higher than it should be for a population your size and your population density and your history and the fact that it's summer. So I can only conclude that some people are being irresponsible. I don't want to blame everyone. It doesn't take a lot of people to transgress, to drive the numbers in a wrong direction. And I hope that a lot of this is clustering in a few communities, and we know what those communities are, and we can descend upon them with the appropriate public health measures. But if not, then we're going to have to do some soul searching and figure out, what needs to happen in Manitoba to get things under control before schools open.
And that's what we're hearing, Raywat, with that targeted testing in the communal communities, otherwise known as the Hutterite communities. And, for example, Bethesda Place, where there's an outbreak in a personal care home. So we are seeing that targeted testing. One of the concerning statistics for me is seeing the lower age of the people testing positive. We're not seeing a huge spike in hospitalizations, perhaps because the bulk of the people that have active infections are, say, under 50 years old. Does that statistic disturb you as well?
It doesn't disturb me. In fact, it gives me a little bit of calmness, because if it stays in that demographic, it won't be as serious in the long run. The challenge is when it moves from that demographic to more vulnerable demographics, like older individuals. That's not to say that people under 50 aren't vulnerable. Many of them are. It's just that we're making the assumption that as more young people get infected, they're more likely to give it to older people, and they're the ones who are more likely to die. We're not seeing that yet, luckily, but we might. But at least it gives us somewhere to target the messaging. If it had been, an out-of-control spread in the older demographic, I'd be a little confused about that, because I thought they got the message already and we had protected our nursing homes. But because it's a younger demographic, that tells me it's the socializing population that is the problem. And we need to just, double down on our messaging so people understand what's at risk here. That's not getting through. What is at risk? What are the stakes? The stakes simply are an open economy. Do you not want that? Then stop doing what you're doing.
We definitely want the open economy, and the other thing that we're seeing is that community-based transmission. It was very low. Now it's creeping up to 19 to 20%, and that, I think, is concerning for health officials, because they're trying to figure out how these people are contracting it.
Yeah, exactly. How are they contracting it? It doesn't take a lot. Remember, distancing and mask wearing work, but they're not perfect. It's entirely possible that some of these cases are the result of people being responsible, but just being unlucky. That happens. But then when they become unlucky, they can spread it to some other unlucky people who are being less responsible. So this is a numbers game, a probability game, and we're going to slip up now and then. The challenge is when we do slip up, when there are a couple of cases, do we have the public health willpower and resources to descend on those cases and stifle them before a few embers become forest fires? Right now, you haven't got forest fires, so no one should be panicky. But what it tells me is there needs to be greater vigilance and greater empowerment of public health to control the situation.
He is University of Ottawa epidemiologist Raywat Deonandan.